If you're watching this video, it means you've already decided or are in the process of considering a layoff. The key thing to remember is at this point, it doesn't matter why you're here. What you need to do is save what's left of your company. I'm McSweeney, and in this video series, we're going to look at how to properly conduct a layoff to save your company and its reputation. Over the years, I've worked with a lot of companies in trouble. And the biggest mistake that I see executives make is that when the financials slip, markets turn, competition increases, they wait too long to conduct a layoff. And I understand it's not great for the company or the reputation, but in the long run, if you can do an effective early layoff, then you can minimize the amount of staff you lose and maximize the amount of staff you keep. And in the long run, that's good for the company and it's good for your employees. When is the right time to create a layoff plan? Well, my philosophy is always be prepared. So when things are going well, you should always have a layoff plan ready to go so that when the market turns, you're ready and you can save the profits of your company and the sustainability of your company long term. First thing you need to do is get a list of all of your employees listed by department. Now you want to identify your most key personnel. Now, when you're doing this, always remember the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule is a guideline. It's not set in stone, but basically it says that 80% of the work in any department is done by 20% of the staff. It's a rule of thumb, but it does tend to be accurate. This next part is a bit controversial, but nonetheless very important. It's typical that when a manager is staffing his department, he's going to take the easiest territories and he's going to give them to the average employees. So you got to make sure that when you're identifying your most productive and key personnel that you want to keep, that you don't keep the wrong staff just because their numbers are good. Now, at the same time, an effective manager is going to take his most difficult territories and he's going to give them to his best employees. Why? Because then he doesn't have to worry about them and he knows they'll be taken care of. But unfortunately, these difficult territories might not give the same production numbers as the easy territories. Every executive, of course, wants to be staffed at maximum capacity. It makes the job a lot easier to get done. But unfortunately, you really don't need everyone. And once you've identified your key personnel, your most productive personnel, your most flexible personnel, and important personnel that don't mind participating in leak coverage, then in reality, you don't need everyone. So when you're taking a look at your staff, don't look at who is the most friendly, who's the easiest to get along with. Truly identify the people that are going to help you rebuild the company when this downturn is over. Okay, now that we've created our list of our most valuable employees, let's take a look at it one more time. Now, at this point, you want to make sure that your own feelings haven't gotten involved. You want to make sure that you've identified people that are actually productive, people that are effective, people that are flexible, and that people that don't mind participating in leak coverage. Because with less personnel, you're going to need people you can move around to different positions. Now you have a list that when it's time, you can quickly execute your plan. Now, one of the things I like to do is add one more person to every department. I do this because it's always difficult when you bring on a new employee. The ramp-up time for them to actually be effective can be anywhere from a month to 3 months to some positions. So by having that extra person in your department, you can quickly move them into a person's position who is leaving. Now, this person doesn't necessarily have to be the most skilled. This can be someone in your company who's just eager to learn, who's very ambitious, because since they're extra, you have time to train them and get them ready. I hope you found this series helpful. This particular video dealt with how to plan for the layoff. In the next video, part 2, we're going to look at how to properly conduct the layoff. Because from a psychological point of view, you don't want to discourage the staff that you do keep. Because if you do your layoff incorrectly, then even your best people are going to leave. Because unfortunately, the 80% that don't do very much work, they almost never leave a company. But the 20% that is doing 80% of your work, those are the ambitious people. And those are the ones who are going to leave when it's going to hurt you the most. I'm McSweeney, and I hope you enjoyed this. If so, please check back for other videos pertaining to business and other concepts. See you in the next video.